Leave that here because we do want to get to Josh Bell. We didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday.
You're right.
We got 10 minutes to go. Let's start. Jason, you weren't here yesterday, although we didn't get to it. Your take on the Josh Bell signing by the Guardians?
It's a great signing. You know, Jose Abreu was the name that we had talked about as a right-handed bat. Josh is a switch hitter. It doesn't kill you against lefties.
Not great against lefties, but
he's
not Josh Naylor.
He's better than Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
He had a terrible time with San Diego this year, and probably deflated his value a little bit.
But he still won the Silver Slugger because he was really good in Washington.
He was really good in Washington. He was great in Pittsburgh. I think it's a great signing. I was excited to see it. It's that punch that they need.
Yeah.
And now we'll see what they do at catcher.
Jay, your thought?
So the question, I think the question was, I left my notes in my car.
Yeah.
I think the question was, is this the big move for the Guardians?
Yes.
And my answer is, it's a big move. I hope it's not the only move. I think Murphy at catch is absolutely a fit. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that happens, but you can't not love this move. It's a major, major upgrade at the position. Naylor wasn't a natural first baseman. He was improving as a first baseman. And Bell, I don't think, is a defensive.
No, he's
a great defensive. Yeah, he's not a great defensive first baseman at all. But what I'd say about him is, as I dug into his stats, because I remember the one really good year, but as I dug into his stats, he's had 4 full seasons, more than 140 games. He's had some seasons where he missed some time.
Right.
His averages, if I can remember, I think his averages for those 4 full seasons, 25 home runs, 71 RBI.
Yeah.
And last year, his numbers were, I think, 17 home runs and 71 RBI.
Because he just completely tanked in San Diego the last 2 months.
Yeah, he didn't do well at all in San Diego, but he was having a fairly
great
good year when he was
Washington,
moved.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great move. I think it addresses one of their 2 biggest needs. I think their biggest need was catcher. But I think their second biggest need was first base. You can still keep Naylor in the mix.
Yeah.
You can use him as a DH, have him hit right-handed pitching, platoon him with someone who can handle lefties. I'd like to see them go out and find that bat.
They have to. So, I'd like to see. G, what do you think? Were you excited about this or lukewarm?
I want to see 30 home runs. I mean,
he could hit 30 home runs. It's not a guarantee, but he certainly could. This is a good hitter's ballpark.
Where do you put him in the lineup? Do you put him before Ramirez? Do you put him after Ramirez?
I would put him right after Ramirez.
I would too.
I would not move Ramirez out of the 3-hole. That's pretty well.
Yeah,
I think I'm hitting Josh
too.
Bell 4 probably.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. This shouldn't be the biggest move. It should be catcher. I agree with you guys. If it's not Sean Murphy, go after Alejandro Kirk. You probably have to give up even more for him.
You were disappointed about what happened with Contreras yesterday.
Only because he went to the Cardinals.
Right.
I knew they were going to lose him.
And that's like when we lost Hayden
to the.
It's worse than when we lost Hayden to the Steelers because a lot of people thought Hayden was kind of done.
I hate that he went to the Cardinals. If he had gone anywhere but the Cardinals or Yankees, I would have been fine. But now that that's happened, obviously Murphy's the best catcher on the board. It's going to take a lot to get him. Supposedly the Cardinals said the price was too high. The Guardians have to, if they don't get him, they got to get somebody else. There's got to be, and that's the thing, as a player, I think Josh Bell, I like him, don't love him as a player. However, the upgrade they got, because to me, it's not about Naylor. It's about, essentially, he's taking Owen Miller's at-bats.
Yeah.
Right? And from Owen Miller to Josh Bell is a tremendous upgrade.
Major upgrade.
And now, you're right, in addition to catcher, which has got to be their biggest move, because they're going to take a hit in the prospects, which they need to do and they can afford to do.
Yeah.
They have to get a first base DH type who can crush lefties, and hopefully he's a guy who can play a good defensive first base. You don't see this very often at that position, but you can bring him in late in games.
Late in the game. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Who do you want there in 7th, 8th, and 9th innings of critical games?
Because Naylor sucks defensively, and Bell is a first
baseman. You know what?
So
I used to think Naylor sucked, but he made some pretty nice plays.
He improved.
Think of the play he made in the playoffs with the stretch.
He did improve.
We were at a game. We all went collectively to a game. And one of the first things I said was, I don't have high hopes for this season. We got a short, pudgy guy playing first base who doesn't know the position. A couple innings later, he boots a ball that is a big play in the game. And I go, see, this guy's terrible at first base. Juxtapose that with the play he made in the playoffs. I'm like, man, that guy's come a long
but
way.
it would still be nice to have another guy you believe in more.
You telling me you need 3 people to play one first base?
No, 2 positions, first base, DH combined.
Yeah.
So you have Naylor, you have Bell, and you need another guy?
Naylor cannot play against lefties, period.
Yeah, he can't.
Cannot
he hits
hit lefties.
160 against lefties?
He's horrible. He is untenable
I
against
don't think
lefties.
they're going, this is it. They're not going to go get another bat outside of catcher.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but Jason, if you could get a first baseman who could just hit a DH first baseman who just hits lefties, you can get that guy for $5 million.
Yeah, he's not a premier
Not a star,
guy.
but a
It's
guy
basically you're splitting Naylor in half.
Right.
You're looking for Brandon Geyer.
Yes,
basically.
yes.
That type.
Somebody who's a positional,
A guy who could play the
a
field.
situational guy.
Yes.
So it's not going to be a big dollar, free agent name.
Or- right.
Or you ship Naylor and you go out and you get all in one. You get the guy, but that's going to cost too much money.
Right.
So
Well-
you kind of piece that position together.
Dollar
Hey, man,
store.
You know what you're doing? You know what you're doing?
But here's the thing
You're trying
now.
to figure out how to stretch that buck in the
Here's-
I
grocery
got news
store.
for you.
Mille.
I think that guy's Owen Miller. I don't think they're bringing
Maybe
anybody else
maybe
in.
it is Owen Miller.
Yeah,
We're gonna put
I
some
don't,
Maybe
I don't
it
love
is Owen
that.
Miller.
Put this
Yeah, the
over
problem is
better
there are other
news.
young guys like Brennan and Benson. They're lefties.
Right.
Yeah,
Chris,
you
You
need-
know,
it's-
but the catcher is imperative here. I mean, it would be if they don't get a big upgrade at that position. Even if they got Christian Vasquez, who's not as big an upgrade as you would like, that's still a lot better than Hedges.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so they do have more work to do. And I'll tell you what, I'd love them to go get a veteran, middle of the road starting pitcher too for $8 million.
I would like that too.
Where is this bag coming from?
I don't.
We got a new owner. We got a new
part owner.
minority
They
owner.
got one of the lowest payrolls in the league. Spend some freaking money here.
You're
right.
getting a pitcher, a catcher, another first baseman.
Well, the catcher's not
Bro.
going to cost a ton of money.
Bro, the Yankees just dropped $40 million a year on one guy. By the way,
Padres did an 11-year contract. The guy's not even a
That's
superstar.
insane.
He's
I know.
a really good player. But
Crazy.
he's not a superstar.
He's 30.
I was
And
watching.
he's 30.
I
At
was
least
watching.
Judge is a superstar.
I was watching MLB Network yesterday.
Yeah.
And they had their color analyst on, former pitcher. What the hell's his last
Leiter?
name? Bell. I think his last name's Bell. Is their color commentator?
Padres?
Yeah, Padres.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and they were talking about. He's like, wow, Padres were in on Judge.
Trey Turner and Judge.
They were the secret team.
And he said, what's going on here? And he goes, our owner's just committed. He's just writing
Think
checks.
about- I
but
don't-
that's not a good way to spend money.
Well, no, but in the short term, I think in the long term that contract's a disaster. For
It
them.
is a disaster.
But think about it in the short term, they're going to have
their
after
lineups
his
is
suspension's over,
ridiculous.
they're going to have Machado, Tatis,
Soto.
But
Bogarts.
what is Tatis going to be?
I still think he's going to be a great player.
And it's worth asking.
Right.
How much of a difference is there?
Yeah.
We know what the baseline was for Barry Bonds and what he ended up becoming.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that use has that big of an impact on every player.
We'll see. You're
see.
right. It's fair. I'm going to assume he's still going to be real great, but but their lineup is ridiculous.
I think I was talking to somebody about this who works in baseball. The Chargers leaving helps the Padres. They're the only team in town.
Yes, that's
right.
true.
They have the whole market to themselves
Yeah.
now. But I still think this is going to be a Florida Marlins situation. Eventually, they're going to cut and burn all these guys. You would
Yeah.
think they're going to try and trade and unload this.
Yeah.
I don't know how tenable
Well, but
this
those
is.
guys-
They're still spending.
in another 3-4, I mean, Soto will still be good, but in another 3-4 years, Machado and Bogarts are going to be a disaster.
Well, I don't even know it's going to be that long. Like, I think they're trying to go all in for another year or two, like the Marlins did. They won in '97, and they said,
Yeah,
"Okay,
and
we're
then
done."
in '98,
It's
you look at
tough.
their roster, and you're like, who are these guys?
That division's tough.
How old is their owner?
Their owner?
Yeah.
I don't know
even
much about him, but the color analyst was like, he's got unlimited money. He's not
Yeah.
afraid to use it.
Good
I'm
for
like,
him.
Can he buy the Guardians?
Yeah,
Dude,
right.
Can you imagine how much fun that would be?
I mean,
Yeah.
how many designer purses does your wife need, man?
Yeah,
You can't just
exactly.
say, buy me the championship. I don't
Exactly,
care about these
but-
kids coming after me. They got to work.
The good thing is the Guardians.
right. Can't
the
take
good
it with
thing
you.
is the Guardians don't need that much. They really don't need
No,
that
they
much.
don't. No, and they could for that amount of money, $40 million a year. They could add that to their payroll and still be middle of the pack.
Right.
In baseball.
Right. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to
So
add 40
and that's
million.
why I think we deserve to be at least middle of the pack in payroll.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chris Antonetti said a payroll would be appreciably higher. Again, I don't think there's anything to do with minority ownership because the Dolas didn't get that money. That went to Kansas City, Sherman.
But
that
everybody
was his
just
shares.
they all just got another $40 million from that
BAM
Tech.
Tech, the BAM
Exactly.
Tech. So
let's
that needs
go.
to be
You spent what? What are they? What was the Bell contract? I can't remember how much money it was now.
17-ish. And
It's
he
two
can
for
opt out.
33.
He can opt out after
right,
the first
which
year.
he-
I that was funny to me. I saw that. Why can he? That I didn't like that part of
because
the
that's
contract.
how they could get him. Because
Oh,
you
okay.
bring him
But
in
I don't
and
mind.
say
But
I
you
don't.
have-
I don't like it.
Here's what I don't mind. If he has a great year, well, he opts out. Okay, he had a great year.
I guess.
And if he has just an average year, well, you got him for a second year, and he was decent.
yeah. Well,
But-
a mutual opt out would have been fine. I would have been good with that
Yeah.
because what if he's a pig and we want to cut bait?
Unfortunately, that's the way.
So we're stuck. I know. That's how you get a player
But
like that.
but that's not a crazy amount of money, and they have some money. The catcher, if they get Sean Murphy, he's not making that much money right
Right.
now. So you could add a starting pitcher and a platoon first baseman for another $15 million total.
Which one you guys want to wrap us up?
You
and
wrap
get
us up,
out?
man.
We got to go. All right, we got overtime coming up. What are we doing on overtime, Mikey?
Best